Today I've got the Olight Warrior X4, meaning the fourth version of the Warrior X, and man, is it a great thrower. Welcome back to Shoelights. This Warrior X4 is really doing it right for what you want for a thrower, right? It's just big enough to really throw, but not massive. It's rugged. The way you cigar hold it is excellent. The interface is simplified and it gets right to what you need to do. And the reflector is the best of the SFT 70 reflectors I have on hand to test. And so it's just a match made in heaven. Great emitter with a great reflector. That's what you're looking for in a thrower. So let's dive right in. We'll take a look at this box here. It's got the magnetic flap. This is their better type of box. They usually ship their top tier lights in. You see it's got the little quick start guide, and then inside it came in this and it has a little cutout, and there's an accessory box. The accessory box does not include an MCC, even though the light is compatible with an MCC. And the reason it doesn't include an MCC is because it includes a USB-C charge cable. Wait, what? What's that I heard? USB-C? Yes, that's right, folks. All the people out there who are complaining about lack of USB-C ports, this light has a USB-C port right there. So right on the light. Don't have to bring anything additional with you for all those people that were complaining about that. I never found it too big of a deal. I mean, I have like a ton of these, and I just put one in my car or on my desk at work. It was not a big deal. But some people just didn't want to do that, and that's fine. I'm not shaming you. Not much anyways. This light still uses MCC on the end if you want to, but you could also charge it right there, and there's no difference. So that's great too. You're not penalized one way or the other. Charges great both ways. So let's take a look at the ergonomics fit and finish of this light. It's just a really, really great light. So includes a little cigar holding ring right here. Now, the light itself obviously is aluminum, and it is, anodized with kind of a, I would say satin. This is not flat, but it's like a satin look, and it's really great in person. I gotta tell you, it feels great, looks super professional. But the ring itself is kind of a hard rubber, and so it doesn't deform easily, but yet it's soft enough that when you're doing a cigar hold to use the light, right, it doesn't dig into your fingers, and it's very grippy. I'm not gonna lose control of the light, even kind of lightly holding it, because there's so much grip right here. And you can see that they have, impregnated into the mold of it extra grip for that end. So they know what they're doing. And notice also there's like a metal ring on the inside of this kind of hard mold. So again, I think that's to increase the durability and the rigidity of this. So there's some engineering going on here. I'm really fascinated by it. Also, as I said, this is an aluminum light, so it dissipates heat well, and it's not too heavy. And you got these fins here to dissipate heat, but also honestly, they look really cool. They look really cool. It's a tail switch only model, and it's a 2-stage tail switch, and we'll go over that in the UI section. But you saw that there's this ring up here, and there's instructions right here on how to lock and unlock to get to the USB-C. And so it's just, it's lefty-loosey and righty-tighty. What is kind of cool, though, is I can feel it, and maybe you can hear it if I bring my mic over here. There is a detent. Let's see if I can hear it. Not there, but on this way. Watch. Yeah, there it is. There's a little detent. I'll try it one more time. And there it is. So the detent obviously is aiming to keep this from rotating on you. You have to put a little bit of force to get over that hump. Not too much, but a little bit. But here's the good news. Good news / bad news / weird news. I don't know. This ring doesn't have an O-ring. It's unnecessary. This is a waterproof port. It's literally there to be a physical barrier against damage for the little board in there. So it doesn't have an O-ring. and you can splash water on this all you want. So even if this were to slide open, I mean, even if it got open this far, you can see that to get something in there, it's like, you'd have to basically like pry at it with a knife or something. So, yeah, it's good to have this. But now while it's open like this, I also want to point out that that's where the charging light is. So there's a red charging light that goes green when it's fully charged. So if you're using the MCC on the end, the MCC includes its own light in the cable right here. But if you're using it USB-C right here, there's a light right there. So since it's off to the side and there's not one on this side, I actually missed it at first. And I was looking all over for it. And then finally I turned it the right way and went, oh, there it is. So it's on this side. Let's get a good shot of the emitter and the reflector. And folks, that reflector is gorgeous. You don't see smooth reflectors that much anymore. Everybody wants to do crinkle. You know why they want to do crinkle? Because it hides the imperfections in the beam. But you know what it also gives you? Kind of a soft, kind of an ill-defined beam. It does like erase artifacts, but it also kind of makes the hot spot transition into the corona, into the spill in kind of a soft way. And you'll see that this light has a really nice defined beam. So that's a testament to a well-designed reflector that's suited for this domeless emitter, and that the emitter and the reflector are at the right height from each other. So some engineering, again, going on here. And that's one of the things I will say about Olight, is they really are thinking it out. They're not just taking off-the-shelf parts and just throwing them together to see what sticks. All right, so we're in the battery and charging section. We've already talked about the charging, which is if you have an MCC, you can charge on the end. And we have an included USB-C cable that can plug in right there, and you got a charge light right there. We kind of already talked about all this in previous sections, but I do want to take the tail cap off and show you the included battery, which is an Olight 21700 5000 milliamp hour battery. It's a high discharge battery. Olight uses very quality cells, and their style of battery is designed to prevent polarity mixing up by putting it in the wrong way and mishaps like that. So, it is proprietary, and people have, issue with that sometimes, but it's just kind of the deal you make when you get an Olight, and it comes with it, right? So can't complain too much. And honestly, Olight is always coming out with new models so quickly that I don't think I've ever really bought an extra battery for any of my Olights. It's just, by the time I would think that I wanted a new battery, there's a new Olight, right? And I mean, my eyes, I might be in the minority. I understand that. I'm a flashlight reviewer, but my eyes are always onto that next biggest thing. All right, let's do UI. UI is going to be a pleasure to talk about because it is no fuss, no muss, and chef's kiss perfect. All right, here we go. Half press. I just did a temporary half press, and you get to medium. And you do a temporary full press. There we go. And you get to high. Okay? Just medium or high. Right? Now, the thing is why did it turn off? Well, because if you half press and hold for a moment and then let go, your press becomes momentary. So if you've used the Olight tail switches before, it's the same thing. But just the first time I ever used one, it was a little perplexing to me. So if I do a full press and hold for a while, when I let go, it's momentary. But if I tap it, it stays on. It's a really cool system, to be honest, because it just means that you got 2 stages, but 4 ways to operate the light. So it's pretty clever. Now, there is a strobe, but the strobe has to be switched. You switch mode groups to get it. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn the light on. Oh, there you go. Turn the light on. And while the light is on, unscrew the tail cap, disconnect power. And then when you reconnect power, you're now in the second mode group. The second mode group still has a medium, and then the full press is now a strobe. All right? The strobe always looks weird on camera, but it's doing a full-on strobe in real life. On camera, it looks like it's mostly on, but it's not. So you want to go back, same thing. Do a half press to medium, disconnect power, then reconnect, and then there we are. All right, let's do a size comparison against some other competitors that I will show in the Beamshots. So we are going to have the Nitecore P23i and Olight's own Warrior 3S. Now, the reason why I chose these is because all of these have the same emitter. All these have a SFT 70 cool white emitter in them. So you're going to see what, having a reflector or a TIR optic is going to do to the beam, or having a deep, large reflector compared to a relatively smaller, shallower reflector is going to do to the beam. So I would argue that all three of these are pretty similar sized. I mean, I'm not going to ignore that this one right here is almost twice the width of the Warrior 3S over here. But as far as how far deep it travels in your pocket, they're almost identical. So you're just going to have to make the decision whether, you want max throw. Because if you want max throw, there's no substitute for having a gigantic reflector. Just smallest emitter possible as far as surface area, highest intensity, and the largest reflector means max candela. I've got 2 lumens of light leak, but it's not going to matter because we're so over that. So let's do the half press here. You see that we get about 300 lumens. And then let me range up. So that's times 10 now. So it still says 300. And then let's go full press. And let's do a full 30-second run. You can see it started almost at 2800 on startup. And we're exceeding the specs right now. We're at 2700 and they say 2600. So maybe it'll be 2600 by the time we hit ANSI. And we're about, let's see, right about now we're about 10 seconds away from that. So yeah, I think Olight's quoting ANSI spec, which is always amazing when manufacturers do that. Because so many want to do at 0. And there was ANSI. And you can see that we're still over 2600 that they quoted. Phenomenal, guys. And the heat is going right where it needs to. What I mean by that is these fins are hot. This is not. This is totally cool, but these are very hot. So that I like to see. When it's hot down here where you're holding it and it's about the same up here, that's about a poor design. But the fact that there's a differential, that's excellent because that means the heat's then going to transfer to the air. So we're outside getting some beam shots, and wouldn't you know it, we got some knuckleheads standing in the middle of the street. And guess what? They know I was doing beam shots. I was here first, so I'm going to beam them. That's how I am. That's how I roll. All right, so we got the Warrior X4 here. I'm going to pit it against the 2 other lights you saw on screen already, which is the Warrior 3S, which has a TIR optic, so it's going to be much floodier. And then you've got the Nitecore P23i, which is a reflector. So let's start out with the 2 Olights. This light is going to destroy the other 2. There's no question. I'll tell you that right now. So let's go straight to turbo on the nearest tree. There we go. It just destroying the tree here. All right, let's go to that second tree, and let's go to the back there. 150 meters. So it's very bright. All right, now let's go to the Warrior 3S. And you can see it's not as bright. It's still a very powerful light, isn't it? But when we go to the back there, it makes it, but not well, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't make it well. It makes it, but not like the same. But let's do the Warrior X4 versus the P23i. All right, so the P23i has an interesting interface. Got to click it on and then hold this little mode button. So here is the Nitecore, and it is very bright. It's good. It is good. I think the tail of the tape, so to speak, will be when we're on that back tree line. So let's go back and forth with that back tree line. So here is the Warrior X, and here is the P23 Warrior X. Oh, that's a big difference. You can tell. It is so different. And also, let's take a look down. Let's tilt down and see how the beams look on the ground in front of us. So let me see if I can get a lower mode here. There's the Warrior versus, there's a Warrior on the left right here, and here's the Nightcore on the right. You can see how much more concentrated the Warrior is. That right there, that hot spot, is the bulk of the beam. This is just bloom that's happening on my CCD. But this entire area right here, this entire area is the hot spot of the Nightcore. So you can see why it's so much brighter. Warrior X4. Lot to love about this light. It's got a great look, multiple ways to charge, feels great in the cigar hold. It's got the 2-stage tail switch that I love that gives you instant access to on or momentary. And with a relatively easy way to get into strobe if that's what you want. I mean, it's so fast to do, yet you can lock it out, right? You don't have to have strobe. So I like that as well, because I'm not a big fan of strobe, but I can't say that there wasn't ever a time when I was walking down a dark alley or something and I got a little spooked. I thought maybe I should have my flashlight and strobe. I don't even know that that's really useful. I don't think flashlights are good self-defense weapons at all, but sometimes your mind wanders. So if you're looking for a rugged, no-nonsense tactical thrower with great looks, actually, the Warrior X4 should be on your short list. Check it out, especially during the sale when you're going to get the best price possible. I'll have links in the description. All right, guys, thanks for watching the review, and I'll see you in the next video.